Hi everybody, my name's Jona. Thanks for checking out this video. Today we're going to be looking at some of Stonemeier's eco-friendly claims, and we are going to be looking specifically at the claim that he has recycled plastic in his board games. Now, I don't know if you can tell, I am super nervous. I'm in a room completely alone, but I am feeling very insecure about this whole situation. Let me just get started and tell you what I know. But before I do that, let me just explain. Here on my channel, I review board games, and I recently started looking at them from an environmentalist perspective, and I give them an additional eco-friendly rating. And I've also been doing a series called Across the Board, where I talk with other gamers, publishers, designers, even some manufacturers about more eco-friendly gaming. And this video is a part of that series. So in some of the work that I've been doing about sustainability in board gaming has had me looking deeper into some of my favorite publishers and seeing if they have any sustainability statements on their website. In doing so, I came across a blog post by Jamie Stonemaier called Wood versus Plastic: The Facts About Custom Tokens. So in this post, Jamie is addressing some critical feedback he had received on his game Pendulum. Pendulum is a game, I haven't played it honestly, but it has a lot of little plastic tokens and pieces, and people were saying, why didn't you make them out of wood? At the time he made his choice to go with plastic, it wasn't for environmental reasons at the time, but in this blog post, he's backing up his choice with an environmental argument. So Jamie writes, "The greatest concern and ultimately the greatest misconception is about the environmental impacts of plastic pieces. The fact is that manufacturing anything at scale in a factory has an impact on the environment. Wood, plastic, etc. You have machines and people creating waste. We have control over what we put into those factories though, and Panda Game Manufacturing uses recycled plastic. Repurposed wood is sometimes used, but it's less common than the use of recycled plastic." Jamie goes on to compare the wooden pieces to the plastic pieces. Despite the fact that Jamie didn't really cite any scientific research, there is a decent argument for the use of recycled plastic over wood. If you're able to utilize post-consumer plastic, this is a great benefit because we're putting something that is harmful to the environment back into the manufacturing process rather than resorting to putting new plastic out into the environment. So all that's to say, Jamie does have a decent argument here for environmental reasons, except for the fact that Panda does not openly offer recycled plastic to their clients. Just a quick visit to Panda's website you won't see anything about the use of recycled plastic. Reusing post-consumer plastic in manufacturing is very exciting news. For example, Lego recently announced that they were able to make a new toy brick out of recycled plastic, and this was welcome news for the environmental crowd and pretty groundbreaking for Lego. But Panda has no mention of this ability at their manufacturing on their website. When pressed on this matter, a commenter asked, "Are you sure all the more significant plastic components in Scythe and Wingspan are made from recycled plastic?" From a review of Panda's website, and in speaking with Panda, they don't typically use recycled plastic, if at all, to make molded plastic pieces because of quality-related issues in the final product. Jamie responded, "I think there may be some confusion. The above post isn't about how Panda makes Pendulum. It's about how Panda makes all of our games. And yes, they use recycled plastic, recycled cardboard, and repurposed wood. They confirmed all of this when I made this post." I think it is noteworthy to say that this post was published July 2020, so this information has been on Jamie's website for well over a year. The commenter responds, "Hi Jamie, thanks for the information and clarification. I applaud your efforts and openness as you begin your sustainability journey. I'm still confused as to whether Panda manufactures plastic components from recycled plastic. My most recent conversation with their staff strongly suggested the answer was no. Again, it was big news just to hear that Lego could make bricks out of recycled plastics, so I'd be surprised if Panda had the capacity to do so. In Jamie's response, he did not address the recycled plastic again. I'm going to take a minute to pause and explain I was the person that invited that commenter to a video chat with 2 Panda employees to talk about their sustainability efforts. That commenter is actually Derek Pennington. Derek is someone that I've met through having conversations on social media, and he has been on my channel as a guest. He's also collaborated with me on a couple of across-the-board videos, and he is a research scientist at the University of Minnesota, and he works in sustainability consulting for corporations. So in our meeting, we discussed with Panda their sustainability efforts. They actually wanted to address some things that came out in this video, which was very kind. They were very open and honest with me. And we had the opportunity to specifically ask them about the use of post-consumer recycled plastics being used in their manufacturing. Thinking back, they honestly seemed surprised by this question. They said that they didn't have the ability to use a recycled plastic in their manufacturing. Now, this conversation was a few weeks ago, so I sent them a follow-up email and I asked them to confirm by email what their answer was in the matter of recycled plastics because I couldn't remember their exact wording. Since I couldn't record our chat and I could not recall emphatically what your answer was in regards to recycled plastics, I would like to ask you to confirm for the record whether you offer post-consumer recycled plastic as an option for your clients. Panda responded, "Recycled plastic is not currently offered due to the loss of quality once plastic is recycled." So, what do you guys think? Do you think that Jamie had some sort of misunderstanding or was given the wrong information? I actually reached out to Jamie on this matter in an email. This is what I said. "I'm wondering if you have anything in writing I could look at that would verify the use of recycled plastic at Panda, such as a bill of materials or some sort of statement from Panda." In response, Jamie was able to relay a message that he had received from his Panda project manager. "Last year, I asked our factory if the plastic tokens from Tapestry and Pendulum were made from recycled plastic and was told that they were. I've just sent an email to our factory to once again confirm, but I don't see the answer changing. While recycled plastic is used in these plastic tokens, as you mentioned, new plastic is used for miniatures and dice. I will check if it is possible to use recycled plastic for dice and miniatures." When I read what the Panda project manager had told Jamie, I quickly responded, "The email from your project manager in Panda is in conflict with what I was told by 2 other Panda employees. In talking to Panda, they are only in the beginning stages of working towards environmental sustainability. They were specific about not being able to use recycled plastic for any plastic game components, including cubes and other small shapes." So in that video chat with the Panda employees, I remember specifically describing the pieces I was imagining would be easy to utilize a recycled plastic for, like little plastic cubes, little plastic simple shapes like stars and whatnot. And they just shook their heads and said, "No, it's too costly and the quality is too poor." When Jamie received my email, he quickly contacted his Panda contacts to find out why we were getting mixed messages about the use of recycled plastic at their factory. A little while later, Jamie and I received a new email from the general manager at Panda West. "After discussing this today, it makes sense that you received mixed messages. At Panda, we haven't yet been organized about cataloging and tracking this information over time." Now, in that email, we were told that Panda would be following up with Jamie and I about the use of any recycled plastic in their board game components. But at that very moment, he couldn't give us a definite answer. And I'm left wondering why Panda can't give us a clear answer on what materials are being used at their own factory. I think it's important to consider some of the other information that we have outside of these emails. Recycled plastic in board games is basically unheard of. When I talk to other manufacturers and publishers and I ask them why they can't use a recycled plastic for their game pieces, they all say the same thing. It costs way too much money and the quality is not there. It's also worth noting that at the time of this recording, Panda could not confirm for me whether any repurposed wood or recycled wood was used in any of Stonemaier Games. The recycled cardboard that Jamie mentioned is also from a standard cardboard that has 30% recycled material in it. If anything is going to be gleaned from this video, I think it's the fact that manufacturing in China is complicated. And that is a message you will hear over and over and over again on One Pip Wonder. If you want to make something eco-friendly in China, you have to do your homework. And you can't rely on only what you're told, but on what is actually possible in manufacturing today. Beyond these conflicting facts in Jamie's blog post, I have another issue with it. And that's the fact that environmental sustainability, something that a few publishers and designers and manufacturers are truly striving for, is being talked about in a very flippant manner. It's not an easy task to manufacture something that is of good quality and does not harm the environment. It takes a lot of time, it takes a lot of money, a lot of ingenuity, and a lot of integrity to do so. If the plastic in Stonemaier Games is not recycled plastic, it won't be surprising. And it won't mean that their games are any worse for the environment than other modern day board games on the market today. But making people believe that Stonemaier Games are more sustainable than they really are is wrong and harmful in other ways. The possibility of Jamie actually misleading his readers in this blog post is a high one, but it isn't totally confirmed yet. But the danger here is that in doing so, Jamie is letting himself off the hook to do truly sustainable changes within his company. And he's also leading his consumers to disregard the realities of the environmental impacts of their purchases. This illustrates the important role that Panda plays in sustainability. Having accurate information is key to truly sustainable efforts. I would really like to see Jamie amend his eco-friendly claims in regards to the use of recycled plastics in his board games, at least until there's further information provided by Panda. Wingspan. This is one of my favorite games, and it's published by Stonemaier, and it was also mentioned in one of the comments about wood components versus plastic components. And I love the theme of this game. I love the way it plays. I love sharing it with my friends and family, and I love the way it looks. But I don't like the way it was made. It was not made with FFC materials. It is highly unlikely to have any recycled plastic components in it. It has a ton of plastic containers that I question the reason for, especially in the expansions. The point is, this game could have been made in a much more eco-friendly manner. So I want to take this opportunity to call out Elizabeth Hargraves, who's the designer of Wingspan, who I admire, and I love her games. They're all nature themed. I want to call her out to pursue publishers that prioritize eco-friendly materials. They are out there. It's harder work to find, but it is possible. And I hope that Jamie Stonemaier will follow through with his promise to manufacture his future Stonemaier games with FFC materials. I'd like to encourage other publishers that use Panda to really seek out what materials Panda is using in their board games and be determined to understand the environmental impacts each one of their games has. As I mentioned before, Panda said that they would be getting back to Jamie and I in regards to the question of recycled plastic at their manufacturing. So I will be sure to give you any updates that I have on this information, either in the show notes below or in a follow-up video. I'd like to let everyone who I spoke to at Panda know how much I appreciated their honesty and their generosity of time answering my questions. I honestly don't really know why Panda took the time and Jamie took the time to answer all my questions. They could have easily ignored someone who has such a small channel like I do, but they didn't. They really addressed my concerns, and I think it's a testimony to how much they truly do care about sustainability in their board games and want to see change within their companies. And because of that, I want the people at Panda and Jamie to know that I support them and I just am cheering them on in their sustainability journey. Thank you so much for watching this video, guys. I'll see you in the next one.